Good morning. It really is sunrise, isn't it? I am here in the dark. So your name is well chosen. So I just want to tell you what a pleasure it is to be joining you this morning and to have the opportunity to share a few words and hopefully have a little time to answer a few questions as well. As you know, am I the newest person to move to Bloomington Normal in this room? It's been 3.5 months, maybe. And I really enjoy spending time with people in the community because one of the most important things to me is that Illinois State is a vibrant part of our community and that we understand that we are here to serve our community, our state, and our country. And so you've heard a little bit about me. I'll just add a few little fun facts just because we're having fun, right? So it sounds like I spent a lot of time in New Jersey and I talk real fast like I'm from New Jersey, but in fact, I was born and raised in Ohio. And one of my fun facts is I was born exactly across the street from the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which is really, it's a fun place if you've never been, it's actually a lot of fun. And I did grow up in Ohio. My undergraduate degree is actually from the University of Akron, which in many ways has similarities to Western Michigan, where I was before I came here, and some similarities in size to Illinois State. And I went there as a first-generation college student. And so I always say that, and we're celebrating our first-generation college students at Illinois State this week, because there's a lot of people where that's their story, but they just don't tell it. And I very proudly tell it because we want everyone to know that Illinois State University is open to them, no matter where they're coming from. So you could be a first-generation college student in your 30s that decides you want to come back to school, or you could be coming right out of college and need that support. And so it's one of the really exciting things that I like to share. Now, some of you I've met along the way, and some of you are, hopefully we get a chance to at least say hello to today. And I really love to hear your stories, and I always love to meet Redbirds. It's one of the best parts of my day. And I just want to say one thing, last thing about me, which really resonates, is your support for World Polio Day. The lessons that we learned from the polio pandemic and the importance of the development in quick time of vaccines to save the lives, predominantly of children at that point, is sometimes forgotten by history. And it's really important that we keep that in mind, that we can eradicate many infectious diseases with a real campaign against them. And so some of my research has actually been on diphtheria, and we're still vaccinating people against diphtheria to this day. And it's important to know that we are really here as scientists and as a biomedical scientist myself to try and always make all of our lives better. And that's our goal. And I know that's your goal too. So one of the things I was going to talk about a little bit today is to kind of give you a context of my remarks, which is the question that a lot of you would ask me if you all had time to talk to me, which is, why did you come to Illinois State University? And so one of my first slides when I interviewed for this job was exactly that response, because it is always the most important question. And so I'm going to share with you some of the reasons I said back then, and it seems like a long time ago, but it was March, about why I thought I should come to Illinois State University, and this was going to be a great marriage between me and the university and our community. So one is that Illinois State prides itself on a student-centered vision and a strong campus community. And so I found that to be as true as what I perceived looking from the outside. We have more than 20,000 students. We have been stable between 20 and 21,000 students for more than 10 years. And I just heard on our local NPR station driving in here that we've had the largest reduction in the number of students going to college on a percentage basis due to the COVID pandemic that we've seen in 50 years. So, so we're very proud that we're still able to keep our Redbirds in school. It is a little challenging this year. It's as if we have 2 freshman classes because our sophomores really were not on campus. And so that has been a really big learning experience for them. But they've definitely been up to the task, and they've been really terrific members of our community. And this incoming freshman class, it's a special class too. We have the largest number of students in our history in our honors program. And that's a hallmark of what we like to do, that individual attention. And we've also recruited the most diverse class that we've ever recruited, more representative of our community in the state of Illinois, and increasing the experience our students will have in a multicultural environment. And our students are really active. It really is a community. And proud to say that we're getting the 2021 American Association of State College and University Excellence and Innovation Award for Civic Learning and Community Engagement. And I know that's important to all of you. So we'd like our Redbirds to be learning that civic engagement while they're with us, and so they can take that with them for the rest of their career. Right, Sammy? Perfect example, right? And these reflect your motto, service before self. And so that obviously resonates with us as well. And then on the area of COVID-19, because we are a member of your community here, I'm really proud to say that our faculty and staff are vaccinated at 93%, which is huge. And our students are continuing to go up. They're at nearly 80% overall, and even higher in our residence halls where we have that congregate living. And so they've taken up the mantle to protect themselves and each other. So we're also very committed. One of my other things I noticed was that it was a university committed to equity, diversity, and inclusion. And that's, I think, best recognized most recently during homecoming. We celebrated the ribbon cutting of our multicultural center, which really is a space for everyone on campus. It was developed by our students working with our leadership. I encourage you, if you get a chance, to go take a look at it. It's really a fun space, and it's got really creative spaces. It's got a green room, and not the green room you think about at the normal theater, maybe before a performance, but a room with plants where students can go and be in an environment and be reflective. And it's going to have a podcasting studio, because as you're learning about the importance of using different types of media, our students are there. And so we're really excited about, and about dialogue around diversity and inclusion for everyone. And so that's an important part. And then for those of you in the HR world, and we all face challenges in recruiting right now, we are no different than you, and the challenges that we face in the workforce is we've got a new search advocate program through Human Resources to help us understand sort of the unconscious bias that can occur in our recruiting process, and so that we can recruit the best and brightest from everywhere to come to Illinois State University. Another thing that I said when I came and was interviewing was that we had had a successful fundraising campaign on which to build. And so I think everyone in this room understands the joy of giving. It's about, about seeing the investment that you make. And so just last year, we raised $25.1 million to support the university, its students, and its mission, which was our third best fundraising year ever. And we've got a lot of things to be excited about that people are really engaging with our institution. So one that I like to talk about is cybersecurity. So to our folks in the insurance industry, it was State Farm that gave us $3 million to help to revamp the space for our cybersecurity program. That program is going to outgrow its space before we turn around. It is just so incredibly important, and it's a great partnership for us. And then we can see the tie between philanthropy and state funding in our Wansua Kim College of Fine Arts. We encourage you all to participate in the programming we offer. We've gotten $69.1 million from the state to revamp all of that space. And that's a great tie to the $12 million gift from Wansua Kim. I would say Dr. We should give her an honorary doctor. Have we done that yet? Trustee Dobsky, that's a great idea. I just put that right here. But I think in fact, that allowed us to be a Steinway only university, which means our pianos are just spectacular. And those sorts of projects are really important for the community and our university. And if you've not been to the Bone Student Center yet and seen the way it's been totally revitalized, I was not here before, but I have been told that it went from being brutalistic architecture to being a warm and welcoming space. So that's pretty exciting. And the other thing is, I'm going to give you a very specific example of philanthropy. And so there's two people in this room that are would want me to be, not doing this and are modest, but Bob and Julie Dobsky were just recognized at our last Board of Trustees meeting for a very generous donation to our College of Business. And they're going to be renaming one of our best executive classroom, the Robert and Julie Dobsky Executive Classroom, which will allow us and this is about the future. This is about investing in the technology that will allow us to have executive leadership programs that will be accessible to lifelong learners and people who are out in industry, but can also then be part of a hybrid learning experience. And so we're really excited about what this means and recognition for we know it's not just us. I mean, we like to think that Illinois State is first and foremost in your heart, but we appreciate your giving as an example to our community. And so then we look at another thing that I said, which was in the job description, and it really resonated with me the most, which is a focus on relationships inside and outside the university. So I firmly believe that partnerships are the best pathway forward for a university. And I think it's the way that we all grow as a community. And so in my previous work at both Rutgers University and Western Michigan University, I was lead on developing strategic corporate engagement programs, which gave the university a virtual front door to our community. So no matter what you're looking for, it's really easy to find your way in. And you'll be hearing a lot more about that. And you'll be hearing us reach out, because as we go through the process of bringing together all of our community events. So it could be you're looking to do a research agreement with us. It could be you're looking to hire talent. It could be you're looking for continuing training for people in your office or yourself. It could be that you're looking for a sponsorship because you want the visibility with athletics. In the background, we'll have a team of people so that you have one place to go and make it really easy to come in. And we will be building that interface with the actual insight of our community partners in both nonprofit organizations and in for-profit organizations. So you can look for that to be starting really soon. And I think you'll find it a really exciting way to make it easier to work with us in the future. And we're building networks with other universities. And so I made a little joke about what other universities, but I love my colleagues at Illinois Wesleyan University and Heartland Community College. And we have breakfast together. And it is actually a warm and welcoming community. They couldn't be better. And we're looking to work with our friends from the University of Illinois. The shield testing that we're doing for all of our students as part of our safety protocol is a very strong partnership with the University of Illinois. And we're working with other universities. So one of our faculty, Dr. Ashley Ann Spalding, just got a $10 million grant from the US Department of Agriculture, working with several other universities in the Midwest in the area of alternative systems for agriculture and the future of agriculture in our country. And so we're really excited, particularly because some of her collaborators are also alums. And so it's a great network. I'd also say that it's really important that one of the things I noticed is we have a federal administration that's very interested in teachers. And we're very proud of our history as a normal university at Illinois State. And so it's important to know that 1 of 6 teachers in the state of Illinois graduated from Illinois State University. It's a big number. And I recently spoke to a group of high school students and their teachers that are interested in a career in teaching. We had a whole day event at the university. We had 950 students register for the event. And we need every single one of them, right? So incredibly important, we're really excited. And it's also about the quality of our faculty and their dedication to teaching and the individualized attention we're so proud of. And so a much beloved chemistry faculty member, Dr. Sean Hitchcock, was recently awarded the Dr. Henry C. McVeigh Outstanding Teacher Award from the National Organization for the Professional Advancement of Black Chemists and Chemical Engineers. And that's an extremely prestigious honor, which we're really proud. And then another comment that I made was about a university focused on innovation and thinking ahead. So we can't be where we are now. We're all moving into a future, and a future where some of it is unknown. But what we do know is that we're ready to respond. And so before the Illinois Board of Higher Education is a proposal from Illinois State University to create a new College of Engineering with programs in mechanical and electrical engineering. We had our what's called big picture meeting with the Illinois Board of Higher Education yesterday and shared our vision for the future. We believe it's really bright. And I will say our friends in Champaign-Urbana put in a letter of support for our engineering program. So we really know it's a need. We are here to collaborate with people, and I think that is a perfect example. We were also declared by Adobe. So if you have ever done Adobe Reader or Adobe Acrobat, I'm trying to be very paperless. We were declared a creative campus, the only one in the state of Illinois, because we're really working in those areas of technology. And then the last thing that I said was my personal commitment to a mid-sized and Midwestern public institution. I stand before you today because the University of Akron in Akron, Ohio took a first-generation student whose father had a 6th grade education and whose mother went to vocational school to be a bookkeeper, who ran a little used car lot, and they made her into a university president. And that's what we are at Illinois State. We are the place of potential. Our students have grit, they've got intelligence, they've got character, and they are going to be great members of our community. And we'd like to keep them here. Now, that's all great. We do have a few challenges. We can't ignore these. I will say the most recent data indicates that for all the wonderful things I told you about Illinois State, we only received $3,933 per full-time equivalent student, when the state average is $6,627. So that means we are 41% below the average, and we are several $1,000s below the next lowest university. And so if we were just to be average, and of course, we all know that Illinois State is not average, we would bring in an additional $48 million into the university. So there is a new commission on equitable public university funding, and I will personally be representing Illinois State University in a process to look for funding models that are in the best interest of our students and change this dialogue where Illinois is one of the 2 largest exporter of students to other states. We need to keep our students here. And Sammy is exactly that example. When someone comes and lives in our community, is educated here, they want to come back. And we know that we've got great opportunities for them. So if you get a chance and somebody's talking to you about this, talk about why it's so important that we support Illinois State, because it's so important that we build a workforce here for all of our institutions and support ourselves. So I'm committed to keeping Illinois State University on that great track forward for the future. And I look forward to opportunities to work together and meet again at events. And I really thank you for the opportunity to talk. And if I haven't talked too long, maybe we have a couple minutes. Yeah, we have a few minutes for questions. I'd be happy to answer your questions. Thank you. Thanks.
My name is Jody Halston Lysak. I'm a 22-year faculty member in the School of Communication. First of all, well, I'll just go straight to my question. I would like to know something fun. When will you be reprising the role of Flat Terry to travel throughout the university? I was really impressed with your management by walking around approach, and that was really neat to me. And I thought, well, I can't wait to meet Flat Terry. I mean, it sounds crazy, but I know you know what I'm talking about. Like, that's a really neat approach. I haven't seen Flat Terry appear yet.
Yeah, that's true. And that's why we have fabulous communication professors at our university to help me, because it is true that I really subscribe to the management by walking around. When I took my job at Western Michigan, I had my office, and then I had my big team of people, and and I would just go, get up, stretch from my desk, walk, say hi to people. And so after about 2 months, one of the more brave people was meeting with me one-on-one and said, we saw you more in the first 3 weeks than we saw the last vice president in 10 years. And I do think it's important. So I do really enjoy getting out and about, but yeah, I think we have to, it is really important to be approachable. And it's one of the things that Illinois State was looking for, is it is really, I always say, I'm out there doing a pulse check. Now go over to the student center, buy a student a cup of coffee at Starbucks, and just find out what's going on. Talk to faculty, try to do walking meetings around the quad, which is awesome, just to kind of exactly that. So we can work on that strategy together. That's kind of fun.
I just thought it was good.
It is, I love Perky, and I love, the other thing is I love video. I love things that that engage our students. And then our faculty are great about coming along with these new ways of approaching communication. Thank you. Hello.
Were any classes canceled today at ISM?
Were any classes? So I don't know if any faculty chose to cancel classes. That's up to them, and that does happen. But no, we did not cancel classes at Illinois State today. Well, yes, future Redbird.
When did the school start?
The school, thank you for asking that question. We are the oldest public university in the state of Illinois, and we started in 1857. I know, it seems like forever ago. Wow, yes. Yes.
Well, first, welcome to the community.
Thank you.
I think you'll find that the faculty and the admin there, up and down the hallways, just fantastic people. So it's going to be a great experience for you. When you look ahead and you think about maybe some of what we've learned about how much can be done remotely, and we think about the rising costs of colleges and how that can be a burden for some, do you envision a future in education where we have less brick and mortar and more technology-based learning? And what do you see as pros and cons?
Yeah, so that is a question a lot of people are asking. And I think if we don't, what's the line, never waste a good crisis, is that this is an opportunity for us to learn. So the first thing is every student has a different need. So this idea that we can do high quality online or hybrid learning for adult learners, people that maybe have not quite completed their education and want to come back, is an area that we think is really important, because there was always this sense of there are these big online universities, but they lack some of the personal characteristics and support that we consider really important at Illinois State. So how can we do that? And so our provost, Dr. Andave Tarhuli, is recruiting a new leadership member into his college, into the provost's office, specifically to work on high quality, true online learning. Now we see that more directed towards specific applications like graduate programs in business areas. And that's been a big tradition for executive MBA programs for years. The best ones have online with occasional in-person cohort development processes. And that is what allows them to give you those senses of both convenience, but also community building. The other is summer classes. So a lot of our students go home in the summer. If there were more classes offered online in the summer, they'd be able to still get the Illinois State education, but not have to worry about being in their apartment. Although we learn that when they get to be juniors and seniors, they really love to have their apartments and be on campus all the time, and then work for all of you in the summer. And then I think the social and the civic parts of the education, particularly for our traditional students, are really important. And so we don't want to lose those, because we really feel it's important that they join. We know this. The data shows that when students come in and get engaged, whether it's marching band, athletics, sororities and fraternities, civic clubs, they are more successful. Their GPAs are higher and they get more jobs. And so we've got to work. There's no one single answer in higher education. And I think that's the most important thing for us. We will never be a totally online institution. Maybe in the future, everything in the world will be online and we have robots teaching everything, but we don't see that at Illinois State because we don't want to lose that personal aspect of what we do. But I think the other thing is really important for people to understand. There's a difference between high quality online learning and on 3 days notice having to take an entire university online. And so what's really important to us is this idea of asynchronous high quality online learning versus Zoom seminars, which are, that was a response to a catastrophe. But that's not really what high quality online learning looks like. Can I answer your?
No, thank you. Good question.
Yes.
There's recently been a focus on the disparity between young men and young women going to university. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that and maybe what has caused that and what we can do to help bring those numbers back to normal.
Yeah, so the most recent data we have a slightly exaggerated disparity at Illinois State, and that's partially because we have a very large teaching college and we have a very significant nursing program, and those disciplines remain highly disproportionately female. And so that's one aspect of diversity that's actually really important to us, we need to be recruiting men to both of those disciplines. We know that it would be great for our students and our patients to do that. So for us, that's actually really important. How can we do that? Part of the reason we want to increase the size of our College of Nursing. We have about a 10% acceptance rate into our nursing program. And that means because of constraints we have, and that's why our board has approved a new simulation center. So I do think one of that is taking some of these disciplines that have not traditionally been viewed as career options for men and making them, they're absolutely fantastic options. So we're working hard on that. We know the disparity also is very pronounced, even more pronounced when you look at people that are traditionally underrepresented already in higher education. And we know that that's been worsened by COVID-19. And that is probably, a lot of that is also financial, as being primary breadwinners, whether it's for their family, i.e. they have a wife and children, or quite frankly, they're helping to take care of their families right now because of the challenges of COVID-19. And so it's a national dialogue, it's an IVHE consideration, and we're still trying to get to the root of what it is. Is it primarily financial? Is it primarily time Is it both, which would make sense? And so it's why we put a real effort at looking at the affordability of Illinois State University. It's a challenge when you have the lowest funding in the state. That's where a lot of that funding for financial aid comes from. I think for us, that's why when we talk about diversity, we talk about it in all of its forms at Illinois State. And if you have an answer, please share it with me, because then I could win the Nobel Prize. I guess that's a big challenge.
Speaking of EDI, Illinois State's always been more on the leading edge of that for years. But what are some of the programs that they have in place? What are some of the forward-thinking programs that they have in place now to push that?
So I think the important thing that we're looking at Illinois State in the area of EDI is that you hear the Illinois Board of Higher Education strategic plan talks about students, 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 students. But the reality is it's important that we think about the entire university. And so the initiative I talked about and having our search committees for faculty and staff also have an eye toward making sure that we're not just hiring the person that we know, but we're looking to bring in more diversity is really important, because it's about building a community that reflects the society that we live in and gives our students that exposure. So I think that is actually one of the really important things. And our provost has a working group with faculty and administrative leaders about looking at how we do faculty hiring and how we can be an institution where people want to come to our community, because we actually think this is a very welcoming community. And I think but there's a reputation out there about Central Illinois, and we have to disperse that myth. And so that's one of the actual things that we're working on, is to make people understand that this is a great place to come and live, and you're going to feel really welcome. And so that is something where we think we're at the cutting edge. The way that we built our multicultural center with a student focus is really important, because students change from when we were in school, even since you were in Swiss. I mean, things are changing all the time. And I think that what we want to do is we're building our programming with an ear to our community, both our within the university. And I think that that's been really successful, in why we have creative spaces. It was our Asian Pacific students that were like, we want a podcasting center, because we really think that technology is a way for us to bring people together. And so we changed the building layout and did it. It's gonna, and I'll tell you, there's going to be faculty in there using it, there's be staff using it as well. I think those are two in particular. The other area where we're looking at is to be aware of what people are saying and thinking. This idea of the pulse check that we're talking about is that this is an ongoing dialogue, and that we have to understand, we have to get to a place where things are changing, and we're listening, and we're finding out that we're not responding, we're getting ahead of it. We start to hear the dialogue, and our Center for Civic Engagement specifically have programs about dialogue. And that's where personally is really important to me, is that we accept that difficult conversations need to be had, and we do them in a productive, respectful, and responsive way. And so that's part of the reason we got that award in civic engagement, because these facilitated dialogues are a really important point of moving forward. Thank you for that question.